Oh, that's too hot. Tristan Tate, from house arrest to Tucker's hot seat. Will they let his ankle bracelet be a souvenir?
I'm not going back to jail.
Well, at the time of this video, is he still on house arrest? I think they just got
They
off.
just got out. But from the time that we're
right.
recording this, they are off of house arrest.
So he
now.
is doing this video with the assumption he's going to be in his house forever.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know.
Tristan Tate looks like James Bond.
James Bond.
He does.
Doesn't he? Like
He's
a modern day James
He's so
Bond?
much more, or he's so much better spoken than Andrew.
Yeah,
if I have to
Andrew's
say.
a little bit more brash than Tristan.
Yeah,
is.
Tristan is a smooth man.
Smooth criminal.
All right, so we haven't seen this. We had our ghost producers.
Yeah,
Someday we'll have real producers, but our ghost producers created a couple timelines, so or timestamps. So y'all ready?
Let's
do
get
it.
All right, let's go.
Romanian jail is no picnic. But, frankly, once they moved me into a room with Andrew, frankly, I quite enjoyed jail.
Of course he
I
did.
think that when I got out, I spoke to a girl I knew, and she goes, in 3 years, you'll laugh about this. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I was laughing in jail, and I'm laughing right now.
It's crazy.
They might send me back for 5 years for TikTok theft. But
TikTok theft.
TikTok theft. That's what I'm officially accused of.
Wow.
But frankly, I quite enjoyed it. I feel like me and my brother are very busy people. We live together. We've spent every waking hour together since we were born, essentially. But we have our own lives to live. I've got my daughter. I've got business to run. He's got business to run. We're both at our laptops a lot. We're on our phones a lot. We're on our devices a lot. I said to Andrew after the first month, I said, we may have had more meaningful conversations this month than we would have potentially had this year if we hadn't been sent to jail.
Beautiful.
So I feel like our relationship is stronger than before.
Makes sense.
And there's no universe where I can't make Andrew laugh. And you have all the time in the world to play your stupid jokes. So every time someone didn't want to insult him, we call him names. That's what guys do. Andrew would go out to visit the doctor or the lawyer, etc. I don't know if he's going to be back in 10 minutes or in an hour. And I'd open a pack of cigarettes and stand by the door like this. So the first thing he does when he opens the door is me forcing him to smoke a cigarette. I had all the time in the world to play jokes on him. So I still don't see it as such a negative thing. And people will call me crazy. But it was me and my brother drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, talking. We have an innumerable amount of stories and experiences and ideas, and he knows things I don't. I know things he doesn't. I'm a Christian, he's a Muslim. We have ideas that conflict.
That's interesting.
That's
we
interesting.
debate because we're smart. And I really think it brought us closer together.
What was it like to be off your phone for 9 months or 90 days?
92 days. It was, you get used to it very quickly, but you have nothing to do with your hands. That's the problem.
Do some push-ups.
That's interesting. So, Isaac, I'm convinced. You want to go to jail together?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could. It would. I don't think I would last very long with these blue eyes. And we would have to figure something out,
Oh.
I don't know.
You guys would come out unbelievably strong and jacked from having to defend each
so
other.
jacked it would be insane.
I mean, it depends. Do Romanian jails have actual weights, or is it just push-ups all day?
Yeah, well, they were in solitary confinement, so they were just
Doing push-ups.
push-ups, sit-ups. I mean, I'm smoking cigarettes. And
I'm
drinking
imagining
coffee.
them using each other as a bench press.
Yeah, can you imagine Tristan on Andrew's back, and Andrew's just trying to go down. He's laughing so hard because Tristan is making jokes, like whispering in his ear.
I'm just imagining them like curling each other or like trying to. Curl
Okay,
each
that's
other.
getting weird.
All right.
all right, that's weird.
I do like that he pointed out though that getting rid of social media, getting rid of their phones, led them to having more meaningful conversations with each other than they would have had the entire year.
Oh, 100%.
In those 3
100%.
months.
Yes, I mean, Gen Z today, statistics say they spend half of their waking hours on their phones. So when you're, can you imagine? I mean, I know I spend a lot of time on my phone because of my job, but just in general, just mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, which he's been accused of, but mindlessly scrolling, that must be insane.
It's like 7 or 8 hours.
All right, next clip.
I think most people need to create businesses while in jail or something.
Yeah, what can you
figure
do?
out.
Can you like sell cigarettes? Like, what would you sell?
I don't even know.
Canteen.
Canteen. All right, here we go.
I met some very interesting prison guards. Yeah, but...
What were the guards like?
The guards were very good people.
Really?
I feel like the guards knew They know what a criminal is and what a criminal isn't. I'm not going to say they knew my case. I'm not going to say they knew I was innocent. But they know what human traffickers, rapists, sexual criminals actually look like because they deal with them day to day. One of the policemen was telling me a story of after a day in court, he had to stay in the police van. His hands were shaking because he couldn't escort the guy back into jail because he said I was going to get on my nightstick and break his teeth in because he saw what the guy had been doing to children.
Jeez,
You know, these guys know what real criminals look like. And a lot of them just wanted to make sure we were okay. They didn't want anything bad to happen in the prison. And I could say I made 2 or 3 friends from the guards. They were very good people doing their job diligently. And nobody abused their power and nobody mistreated anyone. Yeah, real good people. And they weren't the ones who did this to me. So I couldn't harbor any hate towards them.
Who do you think did it to you?
Good question.
I don't want to say anything that's going to get me into trouble.
But you have a good sense.
He looks away.
Let's just say this would have happened in any NATO or European Union country that I chose to live in. It would have happened. It would have happened in Spain. It would have happened in Poland. It would have happened in France. The French, the Spanish, and the Polish have nothing against me. I think the Romanians really have nothing against me. The Romanian people love me. You know, Romania is the most is the most Christian country in the world outside of the Vatican City.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
98.8% Orthodox Christian. These people share the same values as me. They don't feel people like me should be locked up. I have so much support in Romania.
But what about
from
Andrew?
both powerful people and common people alike. So it's very hard for me to believe that the Romanians woke up one day and thought, this guy who publicizes how wonderful our country is and spends millions of dollars here in this country, let's get him. I find it very difficult to believe that that was a Romanian idea because it's not the kind of thing you would do.
What would be really funny is he's even said in the past that he's in prison because of Andrew and they just kind of locked him up because he's Andrew's brother. And Andrew's a Muslim. There could be something deeper that he's not going into because he's talking about how, they're a very Catholic country, this and that. Well, I mean,
Romania is apparently 98% Christian, but I don't think it's because Andrew was a Muslim, David.
I'm just saying.
It's a really weird thing to say.
I have nothing against Muslims, but maybe it's something that goes deeper. I'm just saying. We have to give the facts.
Into the crevices of your heart.
We're facts over feelings over here, you know what I mean? We're facts over feelings over
Facts over feelings.
Oh, that Arnold
But
impression.
that's interesting that he found friends there. I want to see him actually bring one of the buddies to his house and be
He
like,
loves-
hey,
by the way-
this is my buddy, you know, whatever his name is.
He loves smoking. What is he smoking? Is that a cigar? Is that like a mini cigar?
It looks like a cigar he rolled himself.
Yeah, he's a cigar connoisseur, by the way.
It's probably a very upper class black and mild.
What the hell are you talking about?
I have to say.
What? No.
No.
Those things are nasty.
Yeah, bro, I'm not a big fan. But no, I think it's just interesting that he actually found friends in jail.
Well,
The guards were like, we know what all the crazy other guys look like.
Well, think about it from a guard's perspective for a second. If you're in there, one of the most famous brothers in the world come in and stay in your prison, as a man, you're probably thinking, if I become friends with these guys,
Smart.
they're going to look after me once they get out. They're probably thinking of their families, you know, lineage or just in general, how like they're going to take care of me.
Just imagine around the corners at the prison, the guard's like, hey, brother, I'll watch out for you, but here's my number.
His name is Pablo.
Pablo's
just chilling
from Romania?
Let me be
Are
on
there
you.
Pablos in Romania, bro? What are you talking about?
Yeah, they were probably thinking, hey, when you guys get free of your charges, let me be on the security team that runs your house.
Exactly.
Bro, I'm tired of all these crazy predators in here. I want to run your house, bro. I got you.
All right.
All right, let's go.
No more. I can't take this anymore.
I got it for days, bro.
When did you become a Christian?
Okay.
Ooh. Spicy.
Shortly after moving here. I was disenfranchised with Christianity. I just mentioned Christopher Hitchens. I read a few books that he wrote when I was younger. And I thought, you know what? I looked around England and the way society was collapsing and the way Christians behaved. I mean, this pride flags in churches, this is a relatively new phenomenon, but let's just say it started with versions of reality I saw like that. And I thought, you know, Christians don't really stand for anything anymore. I challenge any atheist to walk around Romania and just insult Jesus Christ to the normal Romanian man. People say, oh, well, if you insult the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Muslims will punch you in the face. Go and do that in Romania and insult Jesus. The Romanians stand for something.
Come on.
And I saw how Christianity holds this country together. You couldn't wear that watch in London. Walking around London with that watch and no bodyguards could be a death sentence. You could get as drunk as you like by yourself.
I like how Tucker had to look like, what watch am I wearing again?
No one's going to steal it. The Romanian people are good people, and Christianity is what helps hold the society together.
Interesting.
Also, the maternal grandfather of my daughter is an Orthodox Christian priest. So even when I was dating his daughter, he was insisting that the grandkids have to be baptized, etc. And I fell back into Christianity by reading the Bible cover to cover 6 years ago.
Wow.
And it opened my eyes to what I was standing against as an atheist. And I thought, why would I stand against this? And then look at atheists. Go to these men standing naked with their dicks out in front of kids, you know? These people are Christians. Look at how the atheists behave, how they fetishize serious issues like abortion. Haha, I had 30 abortions, this is funny. No, it's not funny. I'm not even saying it should be illegal, that's not funny. These are all atheists. These are the godless people. That's my team? I looked around and thought, these people don't represent me. Why am I saying I'm an atheist? Let me at least investigate what I'm missing out on. And that's what converted me.
What was your
That's
childhood?
powerful.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's a big one.
I have a statistic for you guys. So in London or England in general, there's as of 2021, which is 2 years ago, which is probably more now, over 46,000 knife crimes a year, just in London and England alone. So when he's mentioning the watch for Tucker, when you walk around in London, if you're wearing something very valuable, you have a very high likelihood of somebody either trying to rob you or steal it. And then he did a cross-culture analysis comparison to Romania, saying you could get drunk as a buzzard at a bar.
As a buzzard?
A buzzard?
The hell?
You get drunk as a buzzard at a bar. Let me finish my statement. Get as drunk as you can at a bar. I'm not advocating getting drunk, by the way. And you could walk out of the bar with that same watch on, and nobody's going to steal it from you because of the crime. Like,
Because of
there's
the
not
culture.
because the Christian culture that he's talking about.
Wow. And it's interesting how he said those people don't represent who I am. And it comes back to the other video we did about Andrew Tate, that you can't determine your religion based off of the representation people do. Because if that's the case, okay, now society's good, and now this culture represents their faith the most. You can't really base it on that. But it's interesting that he realized what is the foundational beliefs of certain groups, certain people, such as atheists. And he said, those people don't represent my ideals, who I am. So he said that in a better way than Andrew. He's actually, I think he's a better communicator than Andrew, because
he's more smooth. He's more well-spoken in that sense than
he's
Andrew.
explaining that he's, again, using people to determine his religion in a way.
Yeah.
Just like Andrew did. But Andrew said his whole defense of why he chose Islam is because he said he wanted to fear God. That's the only thing. He didn't actually go into this kind of analysis. And it's very interesting how he
comparing two different countries too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I can relate to that too, because I mean, as a Christian myself, I have a really hard time associating myself with modern day Christianity, because it's like you said, they don't stand for anything anymore. They don't stand against anything anymore.
I do think on the counter of that, I do believe in the United States Christianity. People are finally starting to wake up.
I think,
and they're starting to stand for what they believe in. I'm not saying that across the board, but a lot of people are waking up and saying, we have to stand for these values, on these principles, which our country was founded on. And I think that's what Tristan's going into. He's mentioned more of the Eastern European London versus Romania, orthodoxy or, dialogue, but it's very different over there than it is in the West. We start something here and then it trickles over to those societies.
This is true. I'm curious though, because like Romania's been doing it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
They've been Christian for a long time. Whereas we've kind of lost our way. Like, even if Christians wake up, is there really regaining that ground? Do you think?
Good point.
It takes time, and again, we have to be trendsetters instead of being determined by how society wants us to be, right? Yeah. We need to stand up for what we believe in.
Stand up!
And that's how you make a change, right? You can't expect it to happen overnight. A lot of people just kind of give up on society. They're like, oh, Christian, principles can't come back, or whatever religion you have. They kind of give up on it because they don't see the long-term goal. And I think that's kind of something important, but let's continue.
I don't want to say difficult, because me and my brother were always a team, and we always lifted each other up in difficult situations. And now that I look back on things, when we first moved to England, we lived in a homeless shelter for 3 years.
Wow.
With a bunch of other families. We had one single room, my mother, my sister, my brother, and me. And when I was a kid, like, you'd go to your friend's house at school, and then he'd be like, I'll come to your house next weekend. My mother would have to explain to his mother, look, he can't come here. We live in a homeless shelter. But it never really hurt me at the time.
That's tough.
I didn't feel like I was hard done by the world. I didn't feel like a victim. I didn't have this victim mentality. My father wouldn't allow me to think that way. So I can say it was difficult in retrospect compared to how my kids are going to be raised. They're going to have a much easier life than I had. Wow. But I didn't have a difficult time dealing with it when I was going through it. So I'd say my childhood was excellent because I had a mother who made sure we had 3 meals a day, a mother who had my clothes washed and ironed and repaired. If a button fell off, she could fix it. Wow. She took care of us. She read books to us. I read a lot of books myself. We're not university educated. We left education at 16 years old.
Wow.
High school.
So, 16 years old, that's when they left education. Wow.
Yeah. I think, so I do have some statistics about that. Do you know how many celebrities or famous people dropped out of high school?
A lot.
I want to read a list off to you guys. Richard Branson, who's the founder of the Virgin Group. He was on Shark Tank. Quentin Tarantino.
Well, I'm not surprised.
George Foreman. Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb. Jim Carrey.
Jeez.
I mean,
Einstein.
Charlie Chaplin. Tracy Chaplin. Al Pacino. Mark Wahlberg. Paris Hilton. John D. Rockefeller. Walt Disney, who created freaking Disney. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
David Karp. I don't know who that is. Oh, he's the former CEO of Tumblr, which is really not as big anymore. Who cares? Elton John. Elton probably
John was a wild man.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about how much more capable you can be of success by just leaving the system.
Wow.
Because, I mean, statistically, women are more auditory learners than men are anyways. They're much better suited for classroom scenarios.
Nurturing their kids too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just when it comes to the school system, it really is centered around women doing
well. They have higher test scores
really
and
well
stuff too.
Yeah, and I mean, even to this day, college attendance is 2/3 female.
Wow.
So
could you imagine, man, going back to his childhood, not the embarrassment as a mother of saying, your kid can't come over and stay the night at our place because we're in a homeless shelter. Jeez, man. But it also goes to show you that
mindset.
If you are raised in the right way and you have a proper mindset, you can overcome anything. I mean, you can't get much tougher than that,
I hope he talks about the value of the nuclear family. Because I think somebody told me that he does, but we obviously haven't seen this yet. Let's see if he talks about that.
I think it also points out the value of not being a single child. Because if he didn't have Andrew, or if Andrew didn't have him while also living in a homeless shelter, who knows how that would have turned out.
But Jordan, you're a single child.
I am a single child.
How does that feel?
I mean, there's probably a lot that I didn't learn because of the fact that I am a single child.
To share your food?
That's a big one.
Bro, you are so stingy. Even with your fiance, she's like
sharing my food, bro.
Give me that chicken nugget.
He won't give me that piece of chicken.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't care because I'm not a single child.
All right, next clip.
Still think, boy, these guys have thought it through. You left school at 16.
16.
You both became professional fighters.
Yes.
So how did this develop?
We had very little else to do. This is no joke. Like, people joke, they say, how do you feel being under home arrest? I joke, and I say, I was under home arrest for 7 years. I was broke. My car had no gas, and I had nowhere to go. I was in a smaller apartment than this. I was in self-imposed home arrest from having no money. Wow. Me and Andrew have never had much to do, but we've always loved discussing ideas. And we're always with the other person, who at least is matched intellectually. And we've agreed on things and disagreed on things. Even now, like I said, he's a Muslim, I'm a Christian. I came out of jail. I've read 4 books on Islam since getting out of jail. Why? Not necessarily to counter-argue with him, but just to learn more about issues that are important to him.
Wow,
We've
that's
read
a
books
good
on
brother.
history, and I think if you have a very good understanding of history, you can understand the problems in the modern world.
Yes.
And that's a massive problem. I get mad at Romanians for it. Romanians don't know their own history. And I'll literally get mad at Romanians for not knowing their history.
Like medieval history or like Ceausescu history, recent history?
Even if you take World War II history,
Yes.
for example, every single Romanian city and Romanian village has a little war memorial in the middle, listing all the names of the people who died. I say to Romanians, where did these men fight? Where did they die? Nobody knows that when Paulus's army approached Stalingrad,
I was about to say they died in Stalingrad.
Exactly. His entire rear guard was Romanians and Italians.
That's exactly right.
And Zhukov's counterattack, out of 259,000 Romanian soldiers, 139,000 died in that counterattack.
And then the rest got dragged into Stalin's Russia and never came back.
And when Romanians don't know that, I get offended. I'm like, how can you not know that? How can you be proud of being a Romanian and drive past that monument every single day and not know where those men fought and died? So even out of respect for the country I live in, I'll learn its history.
Wow.
So
Wow.
It really goes to show how good of, not just a brother he is that he would do that for Andrew, but how good of a businessman he is. Because they ultimately are businessmen with each other.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I guarantee you before he goes into business meetings, like, he will figure out the type of person he's going into a business meeting with.
Yeah, high level
and then
chess.
research. Yeah,
100%.
man.
Yeah, I mean, high business meetings like that. I've been in a room with a lot of powerful people, since I'm in crypto and AI and blockchain stuff with my other business. Before you go into a meeting with people of very high status, you have to play mental, psychological chess with your own mind.
Yep.
To understand exactly how they're thinking, what does it look like, and that is a very difficult task for a lot of people. But the more you practice and you begin to work those muscles, like he's talking about, you can be a lot more effective in conversation with pretty much anybody. That crosses over to just average everyday life as well.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Let's keep going.
I mean, and it seems to target the family first.
I mean, the separation of the nuclear family gives the state the ability to raise your kids.
No.
My brother's probably touched on this. The moment there's no father at home, the moment the mother's busy working, not at home cooking meals and raising the kids and reading books to them like my mother was, then who's raising your kids? The school, the internet, the television, whatever ideas we put on those are the ideas the kids are going to grow up with. We don't want dad out working and mom at home with the kids 24/7.
Nope.
No. The mother of my kids, call me sexist if you want, never has to work again. She can have passions. She can have interests. She wants to learn the violin, the piano, dance, ballet. She's a former gymnast, one of them. Go and do this. Good. You do what you enjoy. Don't worry about the money. I'll make the money. Pursue your passions because I want you at home with the kid. That's what I want. And people call me a misogynist and they call me sexist for it. Why? I've chosen her. She's obviously a good woman. I want her raising my daughter. I don't want her in a daycare with God knows who. Luckily in Romania, I'm relatively safe from that, but I mean, I've seen some questionable people working in your daycares in the United States. That makes me very worried.
And nobody cares anymore.
All right.
What are the women?
Oh, this is interesting.
All right.
The nuclear family.
All right, so I got some stuff for y'all.
All right, go.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, about 18.3 million children, or 1 in 4, live without a father in the home. And that was in 2020, so it's probably even
probably
It's
worse
fascinating how fast you get these statistics too, considering we haven't seen this. It's
well,
or you're just well studied.
Yeah, I mean that's easy, because when you have, I know specifically Jordan Peterson talks about, in order not to be in poverty, and Simon Sinek says the same thing, you need 3 key critical components. Number 1, graduate high school.
Yep.
Number 2,
unless you're like those crazy people that we've already said.
Exactly.
But yeah.
But in terms of statistics, graduate high school, get a job, and wait until you're married to have kids.
Wow.
And you are pretty much guaranteed not to be in poverty in the U.S.
That's fascinating. So it's more of a poverty tends to be more of a culture thing. I know that there's a lot of different variables and factors, but it's a culture thing. How are you raised?
Yep.
And once you do have the ability to make your own decisions, what decisions do you make?
Yep.
And I mean, he's talking about the nuclear family. Me and you, Isaac, we were raised with my father working, and my mom had a job occasionally, but she was mostly at home. And for the people out there that are going to get offended by this, that saying, oh, women shouldn't work, this and that, everything's a trade-off in life. So the most important thing is to understand what are those trade-offs. If the woman is going to be working all the time and the men's working as well, then again, who is raising your family? Are you able to impart your values onto your kids? And if they're in a daycare, until they're 5, hopefully they're not teaching them stuff yet. But then once, again, you don't know, right? So it's a trade-off. You have to find out for your family what you value most. For me and my family, I value being able to raise my kid in the values I have. And so my wife is a professional photographer, so it's amazing that she's able to be at home with my child and still work there. So that's another option. If the woman wants to work, maybe you could get a job that's remote. But I don't like the idea of giving my kids over to a system, especially as they're raised. Now, granted, I have certain people in my family that both parents work and the child is, 2 or something in daycare. I understand, you have to pay the bills. So I'm not dogging on you guys out there. But it's important to know, especially as your child gets older, once your child is 6, 7, and then starts to learn and grasp everything that's around them, everything everybody says, they are a sponge now, right? You have to decide what you want for your family. And if you are okay with your kid being raised by the government or in the school system, you have to make that decision.
Peace be upon you.
You have to be aware of the risk. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. I think it's important to point out that as much as people might not like it, the idea of feminism, it was packaged up in a morality sense, right? It's all about doing the right thing. Women need rights, this, that, and the other. But I think when you break down what Tristan's saying, it's very clear that the intent was to ultimately break up the nuclear family.
Yeah.
You can't have that many women enter the workforce without also driving up the cost of living, which then needs both parents
Double
working.
taxation as well.
Double taxation.
Yeah.
You need both parents working at that point. So now someone's got to educate the children. I think it was an agenda from the very beginning, and people are just...
It's, equal rights are important in terms of them having the ability to, because especially single moms out there, we feel for you, but they have to be able to find income. I know there's certain programs the government provides that enables them to make money without doing that as well.
But see, the question is would there really be like a high number of single women if not for the fact of feminism?
Well, again, that's a cultural thing. Every culture is different. And again, there's a lot of men that do impregnate women and then leave. I don't know if that's a government problem. That's just more of the culture that we're in. Today men don't want to take responsibility for the decisions they've made. And I don't think that's more of a cultural thing that's happened over the last 30 years and gotten worse and worse, that men don't want to take responsibility. But you have to know that if you are having sex with a woman, you have to know what's going to happen and then be able to take responsibility as well.
Right.
I think instead of equal rights, it's more of equal priorities.
Yeah.
Because the priorities that you have as a mother or as a father, you have to know that if you're going to working 40 hours a week as a mom, your children will not be raised the same way as if you were at home.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't take away from the fact that women can work, that you have every right to do that.
100%.
But what are you sacrificing in terms of priorities to go out and make the money and get the status and work at a high-paying job and climb the corporate ladder? You have to make that decision because women's time clocks are shorter than men's.
Yeah.
So you have to make that decision in your late 20s, early 30s. Where do you want to be in life in your mid to late 30s? Do you want to have kids and a family? Or do you want to be working a high-paying job, and every year that passes, it's going to be harder for you to have an actual pregnancy and carry to full term?
At the end of the day, make educated decisions, know what your risks are, and move forward, because we don't want you guys to live with regret, whatever decision that is. A lot of people go the route of having both parents work all the time, and that's fine, but you have to know the risk. So let's go.
Make this very clear. Inspires the other people around us to loyalty. I have such high standards of what loyalty means because I have Andrew, that I expect absolutely nothing less from my friends. I mean, you've seen this house. There are men sitting around this house. They've flown across the world, 24 hours, some of them, to come sit on house arrest with me, as opposed to enjoying their lives and running their businesses or seeing their kids. They're here with me. The loyalty we have for each other translates into every other aspect of our lives. I feel like we get more loyalty from women. We get more loyalty from friends. We have a standard to measure loyalty against, and it's a standard that's 100%.
That's good.
Wow.
I think another word for that would be devotion.
Well, loyalty
duty.
and devotion are kind of the same thing.
Duty. You have a sense of duty as he's talking about.
Duty.
Duty. You want some duty?
Your sense of duty truly knows no bounds, brother.
For all of you out there that are listening right now, pay very close attention to what I just said.
Isaac is this much of a dork.
And then
all the
post
time.
in the comments how you think that actually came across. Anyways, duty.
What?
Duty. Loyalty. What does it mean for a brotherhood to be loyal? Because we've, on most of our videos, we talked about loyalty What does that mean, though, with your immediate circle of brothers? Obviously, for Tristan and Andrew, they were in jail. They grew up together. They did everything together. But a lot of brothers don't have that.
Tristan spoke this in one of his recent videos. Maybe it was Andrew that said it. But they said that Tristan was offered the ability to have an early release from prison with Andrew. But he said no. He said that he would be furious if they released him, Tristan, before they release his brother.
He would have been furious.
Tristan would be furious because he refused to let his brother be in prison by himself.
Yeah.
That is loyalty. Most of the time people think of loyalty as, they can't be convinced to turn against you. Yes, that's a big part of it. But what are you willing to do with your brother? Are you willing to go into prison and not leave? For example, Isaac, if they said, hey, you're going to go in prison and you might be out there for 2 years, do you think I would go in there with you till the end of time?
That's a good question.
How loyal do you think I am to you, bro?
I think because you have a wife and a kid at home, that wouldn't be fair.
It would be tough, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Tristan did say that he would be mad if they didn't arrest him with Andrew. He said he would break into the prison.
I broke out of prison for this.
To be with his brother. That type of loyalty is rare.
It's loyalty that you will put your life on the line and you don't care what happens to you as long as you know your brother's safe. And that's wild.
I mean, there's even less examples of men struggling with loyalty nowadays. I mean, nowadays, friends groups can have just a girl come into it. And Tristan's even addressed this in this interview. Bro? You have a girl come into the middle of it and screw things up because everyone wants to screw her. Oh, God. Like even that, like that level of loyalty doesn't
I've heard
seldom
so many
exist.
Stories of that, bro. Even with the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
They just started competing and started. Yeah, I watched the documentary recently of him. There was no loyalty there. It was about who's going to be more famous, who's going to be the person that trumps the other person. Loyalty is important, man. Brothers need to know that, hey, I will put my life on the line for you, that I will not let anybody do something to you without being there and making sure that we take care of it.
I will bleed for you.
I will bleed for you.
I will put my heart on the line, mother liquor.
All right, let's go.
Andrew is a Muslim and I'm a Christian. In a previous life, me and my brother used to run a streaming company, essentially, where pretty girls would stream online and talk to dudes online. There was some nudity involved. And it was a studio, essentially. The girls worked for my company. They had contracts to work for my company. They got paid very, very well. And people were like, they were involved in that business where they recruited women. Is that what they're investigating for the human trafficking allegations? No. No. The human trafficking charges filed against me, because they called the women who used to work for me. Yeah, great boss, I made some money, my life has moved on, and they hung up the phone on the police. The charges are that in 2021, I recruited friends of mine by brainwashing them to steal their TikTok money. If the police could have found a link between anything illegal and any business I've run, from my webcam studio to any company I've ever run, they would have put it in the case file. It simply does not exist.
So that's not connected at all to the church?
Not at all.
Wow.
The webcam studio was shut 4.5, 5 years before I allegedly started this kidnapping gang. So they're not connected.
You do not run a web business now?
No, absolutely not. And also, none of the alleged victims are girls who've ever worked at my streaming company in the past.
Wow.
There's zero connection at all. But I get why well-intentioned fans of mine will be like, oh, well, he was talking about this business he used to run. Was he trafficking those people? That's a very fair question. It's a very fair question. But there is no connection at all. And the case file will eventually come out. The charges and what I'm accused of will come out. Is there any money that's been made in the case file? $1 from illicit activities, even from TikTok that reached my bank account. Is that in the case file? No.
So you guys don't make money from TikTok?
It's very interesting.
No, I mean, we have people who put ourselves on TikTok to kind of spread our own message. Do we directly or indirectly make money from promoting ourselves on TikTok?
Traffic
Maybe.
yourself.
That's not human trafficking. Did I traffic myself?
Oh, he
Then
said
trafficking himself? No, but we make no money from TikTok, and we make no money from anyone streaming on TikTok. And I certainly wouldn't need, I don't know how much TikTok influencers make, but I certainly wouldn't need to brainwash people to steal amounts of money.
All right, I think that's good.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to educate.
He's a good-looking man, by the way. Tristan Tate's a good-looking dude.
Oh, he's a beautiful man.
Yeah, beautiful man. Look at how shiny his forehead is.
He looks like Andrew Tate with hair.
So
Yeah,
I'll say this. It's really interesting. I recently learned that TikTok now, you can make money. But hear this out. You make
so little.
$1 for every 1,000 views. So let's put that into monetary consideration. Let's see if
It's more
if
like
one of the women that he has on there makes a video that has 50 million views. That's $50,000. Do you know how much the Tates are worth?
Can you know how much you can make on YouTube?
I want to speak on that.
Well,
for
the
a
recent
second.
Forbes showed that Andrew Tate's worth around $700 million. Do you know how much they would have to do in TikTok to steal money from women?
It's not even worth it.
It's not worth it.
So they roughly have about, as it currently stands, around 200,000 members in their Hustlers University.
Wow.
They make $50 a month off of that subscription, which is about $10 million a month. They make $120 million a year from their school alone.
Wow.
That's not the casino that they're part owners of or any of that. They make so much money. TikTok is less than pocket change to them.
I hate TikTok, man. I hate it so much.
TikTok hates you.
TikTok hates a lot
Does
of
TikTok
people.
hate me?
Yeah, it steals all your data.
It steals all your data
Sends
and
it to the
and it says
Chinese.
in perpetuity. So if you allow TikTok access to your phone, anything that you have on your phone, they have access to in perpetuity. So I mean,
We encourage all of our subscribers to go and see all of the terms and conditions of TikTok. Come back to us and tell us we're wrong.
Yes, but that's interesting that he's saying that that's the only thing they're charged with.
Well, that's
Again,
what it's been reduced to.
On the case file, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Jeez.
been so reduced. They can't find anything. They literally just got released from house arrest too.
And
like
we're not-
all of you haters are quite literally losing the ground that you try and stand on.
And we're not saying, I mean, they've done a lot of bad things. The webcam business was bad. So for all those people that are going to go in the comments and scream at us for, but they did yes, that was wrong. We're not denying that. But based on the lawsuit they are in right now, it is purely based on TikTok.
He's huge on TikTok.
David,
Because they had nothing
you're
else.
sweating like a wet wombat.
Bro, our AC isn't working up here.
Sweating like two
This
hamsters
is your
having
crypto house. What's going on, bro?
sweating like two hamsters having sex in a sock.
What?
In a wool sock.
What? All right, I'm sorry, people, but I do have to do this. I know it's not glamorous or anything, but you will see this.
sock?
You
In
will
a
see
wool
this.
sock.
It's such a weird picture in my brain.
And
Thanks a lot, man.
And you call yourself not a creative. Look at you and your creative
Yeah,
messaging.
look at that! Look at that brain firing off.
I
there.
don't
Look
think
at
I
that.
could find a gift for that if I wanted to.
Probably not.
All right, let's
No.
continue this mess. Or no, this isn't a mess. This is good stuff.
This mess.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who have to be dealt with in a legal way. I don't want anyone to misinterpret that as a threat.
What?
But essentially,
deal
the
with
answer is this. I was asked
Dude,
by
get
a
in a
friend, do you think
cigar.
you'll get
It's
justice?
almost
And I said, what, you think if they drop this now and just say you're free to go, that's justice? After what my family have suffered, after my daughter suffered, after me being locked up in a prison, after me being deprived liberty in my house, the damage it's done to my business, my international reputation, my mother, these two women. You think if they drop it now, that's justice? No. God is the ultimate arbiter of justice, and he will make sure that I do get justice. And I will have justice. But this case file disappearing is just the beginning. How is that just? 1 year and a half I've been labeled a human trafficker. They've been calling me a human trafficker for 1.5 years.
Jeez, man.
When you have a daughter who's 2.5 and she's banging on the door, screaming to go outside and play with the other kids, but you know you can't let her go outside because if she does, the other kids take their parents in. The other parents take their kids in. She has no friends. I bought her a dog. She's crying her eyes out. She used to be able to play with the kids in the neighborhood. Now she can't. What about her? Is it justice to drop this file now? No, people will have to pay. Legally. Don't cut this up and say I'm making threats to anyone. People will have to pay. And they will have to suffer the consequences of the legal system. And I also believe that you can't do such an evil thing to people without suffering some type of retribution from the Almighty.
Wow.
So, good luck to them.
The Almighty smiting him down with fire.
I'll tell you what, these lawsuits are going to make them well more than billionaires.
I mean, do you think they're not going to sue Romania?
They won't sue Romania,
No,
but I guarantee they're going to end up
press.
suing the press, all the different media outlets that covered all of this.
And they have the money to do it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot imagine, man, not being able, telling your daughter that she can't go play with other kids because of that, dude. Because I have a kid similar age he's talking about. You buy him a dog, it's not enough. You know, you can't leave this house. You can't go because everyone else thinks you're doing this and that. Man, that hits home for me, gents. That hits home.
He's home to the core of your being.
Right to my feels.
Yeah, if I were him, I would be pissed off too.
I would be pissed because knowing that he was in jail unjustly, allegedly for crimes that we don't know is true or not yet. To be honest, I mean, we'll figure it out once the case file comes out. But just the fact that he was labeled a human trafficker for 18 months without really any evidence to support it, as it states right now, that would be tough for anybody.
I mean, common sense would conclude, like, if they let you out of prison and then they also let you off a house arrest, the charges were bogus.
We'll see.
I mean, they just let them out of house arrest, so they're not worried about them fleeing now.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we have one more clip. Let's see what the finale is, if there's even a finale.
So Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, some talk that they may square off in the ring, a ring you're familiar with. Will it happen? If it does, who wins?
Here's what would happen. Here's what could happen. Elon would have to take his foot off the gas pedal when it comes to work. I know he's a workaholic. He's insane, truly inspiring, that man. And I don't think he does anything by halves. If he tried to run all his various companies, do an hour or two of training a day, didn't take it seriously, Zuckerberg has a head start in terms of technical skill. Elon is bigger, he's stronger, he's physically more imposing. If he took 6 months to train 5 hours a day, Elon beat Zuckerberg.
5 hours a day?
That's what it would take for a man with no combat experience to get to a level to beat Zuckerberg. Yeah, Zuckerberg's been doing jiu-jitsu now for a couple of years, I think.
Oh, then
but
Zuckerberg 5 hours a day for 6 months.
That's what I would prescribe to guarantee his victory.
Guarantee.
And you have to understand, for me, Meta banned me. So I still had Instagram and Facebook until I was in jail. In jail without charges. My criminal record is completely clean. If anyone here has anything on their record, I'm cleaner than you. He deleted my Instagram when I was in prison. I posted photos of me in suits, photos of me with cars, with inspirational quotes. That was my Instagram. I was deleted while I was in prison. I came out, nobody can get my Instagram back ever. It's gone. So obviously I want Elon to win because Elon has my back. I mean, whether he's endorsed me or not, I don't talk to him. I've never met the guy, but I have a Twitter account. So for me, it's good versus evil. So.
Wait, on what grounds did...
All right, let's stop it there.
Wow.
Who do you guys think is going to win?
Who is going to win? Well, I would love to see that happen.
It's going to happen eventually.
Do you think it will?
Yeah. Elon's called him out multiple times. If you call billionaire to billionaire, if you call somebody out...
What did he do to call him out, though?
He called him out on Twitter.
What did he say, though?
I don't know exactly.
We'll look it up and maybe try to put it on the screen if I can find it. But that's interesting because I was not expecting that. We're talking about, the trials and tribulations of prison, how my children can't leave their house, how brotherhood and this and that, all the governmental stuff. And then, who would win the fight between Elon and Zuckerberg?
It's a soft way to end the interview, you know? It's a pretty intense interview. He wanted to lighten it up a bit.
Can you imagine, though, how amazing that would be if Elon went into the lab for like 6 months, came out jacked with like a 6-pack and was like just started beating Zuckerberg's face in.
I'm going to take your face to Mars.
God.
If he did that, he would probably like have a Tesla and then take that Tesla to Mars and have it painted on Zuckerberg's face.
I honestly think that would be kind of cool.
Who
do you guys think is going to win, though?
Well, it's very much like Tristan says. I mean, Zuckerberg does have a pretty good lead on him because of the fact that he's been...
would win.
Jiu-jitsu, he's 2 years of jiu-jitsu training. I mean, the thing is that Elon would have to keep him off the ground because once you get on the ground with jiu-jitsu, it's over.
It's over.
That's if someone knows what they're doing. 6 months is not enough, dude. If
5 hours a day and you're Elon Musk, you can hire anyone you want.
But do you think Zuckerberg is going to stop?
Well, so long as it's aimed training towards Elon keeping himself off the ground, playing defense and making sure you stay up on your feet.
Even then, dude, like the best UFC fighters, whoever's the wrestler always wins.
I have an idea, guys. So if they do decide to fight, which I think would be hilarious, we will do a live stream with you guys and live stream the fight.
Oh
comment
my gosh.
do a comment below and let us know if that's something you would like to be a part of.
We'll drink.
below and see.
I'll make some meat and we'll drink it while we watch it.
Hey, now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good reaction. I enjoyed Tristan's different demeanor. We've been doing a lot of Andrew lately, but Tristan is like, he's super smooth.
He's very
There's something
elegant.
about him that's very elegant and very not as off-putting. I'm assuming that most people that hate Andrew don't hate Tristan as much, even though they were involved in a lot of the same stuff. So, but let us know your thoughts. Do you like Tristan more than Andrew? Do you agree? Do you even believe what Tristan's saying? He says it a little bit more eloquently than Andrew, but do you believe him or is he full of crap? Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I really have nothing else to say.
Well,
No more final Arnold impressions?
so we've done tons of reactions on Andrew Tate so far. So click right here for Candace, Owens, and Andrew. And then we also have a bunch of other reactions over here. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Yeah.